When the so-called officials from Uganda, they want to seek medical tourism, they come to the UK and they are treated in St. Thomas across the Thames down the road. That is Uganda of today, whereby your money and my money, that money should be helping our policemen. That money should be helping the homeless brothers and sisters of ours who are sleeping in the streets in London and the UK at large. That money should be staying in the UK, not to be taken out of our country, given to a brutal dictator like Museveni of Uganda, and then that money is used to terrorize Ugandans. The money you send to Uganda is being used in the building of prisons in Uganda. Ugandans don't want prisons. They want working hospitals. Ugandans don't want military patrol cars. They want ambulances. They want schools. They want good roads. No tear gas, no ammunition. We are condemning the UK government for the training of militias from Uganda. They do attend best military academy called FAST. We as Ugandans, we didn't know teaches Ugandans militias how to torture people. They are using American techniques, the waterboarding of suspects. Innocent people are being tortured. In Uganda. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. It's the money which is coming from the UK, which is murdering Ugandans. It's the money which is coming from the UK, which is raping Ugandans. It's the money which is coming from the UK, which is kidnapping Ugandans. Because this money is going to Uganda with no accountability at all. The money is in the aid. Being sent to Uganda, what do you get out of that £1 billion? 9 billion profits. What are you on that money? You always talk about foreigners in this country. Well and good. Foreigners come here because we are supporting the brutal dictators in Africa and around the world. You give them arms. When you give them arms, those arms are not to kill animals or to be used for hunting animals. It's to kill human beings. And this is what is happening in Uganda as we stand here today. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. We have promised the Foreign Secretary that you turned against your promise. We are going to ask for permission to make shifts here. Come out and speak about Uganda. Until you come out and speak about human rights abuses in Uganda, until you come out that you never again send, fund, train the brutal militias from Uganda. My money and your money is being sent to Uganda, £1 billion every year. That money should be staying in the UK, helping our policemen on the street and the homeless in London and the UK at large, than that money being sent to Uganda. And in return, that money is cycled back to the UK. And the brutal dictator of Uganda, Museveni, he owns the most expensive house in Holland Park. His son owns the most expensive house in Chelsea. But you are sending £1 billion to Uganda in the name of aid. That is not aid. That is business. You invest 1 billion to Uganda. In return, you are taking 9 billion back as a profit. People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. Thank you for listening. We are from Uganda. We are not going to relent until the UK listens to us. We might be 10 or 15 here, but we are representing 47 million suffering Ugandans in Uganda under the junta, the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Thank you.
Hello. The people you see here and everybody you see here are the Ugandan community living in UK. Don't mind, like the English says, size doesn't matter. Numbers don't matter. It's the content we are telling you that matters here. It's the content of what we say that makes sense. That's the English word. Numbers are just figures. It's the content we are saying, just like the English had it goes, size does not matter. It's how you use it. Okay, these are Ugandans working in UK and living in UK who have lived abroad and they pay full tax to the taxpayer. And sadly, all the taxpayers' money returns to Uganda and finances our death. We would not be here if UK was not financing our death. What happens? The money collected by HMRC is recycled to Uganda, £1 billion to kill Ugandans. And as a result, these are the products you see. They kill Uganda to live in UK where they can get the freedom. What am I talking about? Stop funding the dictator in Uganda. We don't need that money if it comes out to kill, maim, murder, imprison, cut off, to export people body organs. And this is why we are standing here. Stand warned. We went to BBC 12 times. We will be here 20 times until the guy behind me here, Dave Dilame, gets the message. Stop funding and training the people who torture us. They torture us in torture chambers. In Uganda, we've had a dictator for 40 years. UK has not winched an eye to stop funding. They have never asked him accountability. He's done gross, bad things. Some of them, I would be swearing to mention them, from rape, murder, anything may say it. But this is the murder, Museveni and his family, the son, Buhozi, they have murdered us, right, left and center. But UK still facilitates him. He's been in power for 40 years. UK has had 13 prime ministers. We still have one. People behind me here have never seen any other rule junta in Uganda. We only have one junta, Museveni of Uganda, who is murdering us every single day. But UK keeps rolling out a red carpet when he flies to UK. This is evil. We don't encourage this. You should be blaming. Stop funding him. When we say stop funding him, we are not asking you to give us that money. We fund ourselves. We come to these demonstrations unaided. We don't get money from the government. Or we get money from the community or social work, social money. We come, we pay for ourselves to be here and bring to you the bad message from the junta in Uganda who has killed us. These are people who don't care. They have medical asylum. When they get sick, they come to UK. They have education asylum. When they want their children to go to school, they come here. When they want good jobs, they come here. Our people, local, like my grandmother, my parents, step back. They don't have even the basics. Health should be provided for all. Health is meant for only the margin who can fly to Europe and be treated. Recently, we had a dog. He's called Mutesa. He flew to Germany for 6 months. He was treated of throat cancer. Yet, the same money would have bought equipment and equipped the main Pharaoh Hospital with equipment to treat other people. We spent so much. We spent over 10 billion on one person, the previous speaker. Yet the same money would have gone to his home hospital and would have equipped the hospital. The budget for equipping the hospital in the northern area was 6 billion. They spent 10 billion on one person. This I am saying because of the inequality. There is no constitution. The Museveni government has wrecked the constitution 5 times. We've had so many coups during his time. The first time he changed the term limit from 5 years to eternity. He will stay until he dies. Probably the next thing when he dies to be put in the coffin, that will be the end of his term. He's rejected names. He started off by calling himself Museveni. Then he came to Tabura. Then came another nickname. Then so many. He keeps rebranding. You support a dictator where you've not asked him any accountability. This is what pains us. Ask him to account for money. All he has to show off are more prisons, more torture chambers, more dungeons, more death. On his coming, he had killed millions. During his stay, he's killed millions. Millions in the north of Uganda, millions in the west of Uganda, and I'm talking about Museveni of Uganda, the dictator, who has been in power for 40 years. Yet UK are sitting with hands folded. They keep giving him money. And he has agents in the parliament. He's got Sentamu, the fake bishop. He's got Lord Puppet. They make sure the money keeps flowing to Uganda with no accountability. You may think I'm talking out of nothing. Don't think Bishop Sentamu is Zimbabwean. He's Ugandan. But when the dictator of Zimbabwe was in power, every day he was on BBC saying how bad the regime in Zimbabwe is. Today, for 40 years, the fake Bishop Sentamu has never said anything. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. I can't hear you. Kunga Uganda, Kunga Uganda, Kunga Choglani, Kunga Bobby Wine, NUP, everywhere. Thank you for listening.
No, I don't need my microphone. I'm not good in talking.
Who wants to say what? Yeah. You want to say what? Come down here. I need to hear your voice. John. Yeah.
Power! People power! I just want to use the words of a legendary musician called Bob Marley. In one of the lines he said, "How long shall they kill our people?" He uses the word prophet. But for us Ugandans are asking, how long shall they kill our people? How long shall they kill our people? And we stand and look. How long shall they kill our people? And we stand and look.
Do we want mass murder, or we just want genocide? And then that's when you're going to say something. How long shall they kill our people? And we stand and look, and that really pains me. An individual is not a number. It's a person. That is a husband to a wife, and he has children. And here we are standing and highlighting that these guys, I have a t-shirt here with faces of those who have been brutally abducted of recent days. This is among the many. And they are being tortured, and they have families. Not only them, there are lots and lots of people in jail. Instead of building hospitals, instead of building good schools, our country has turned to building prison. Prison, prison. And we cannot stand here and be quiet and not make noise for those who cannot make noise. Uganda is bleeding, if you don't know, and it has bled and it's still bleeding and it's still going to bleed unless people who sit in offices like this make a conscious decision to say something to help the voiceless back home. We cannot, all of us here standing here, we just left our jobs. We are not being paid today. And do you know what? We are not going to pay tax for today. And it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your economy. We cannot stand and look. Our people are dying. Our people are dying. People are being abducted. And here we say, and people sit in offices, they write letters, they say things, but they don't stand up and make statements. And yet you call yourself friends of Uganda? You are not friends of Uganda. You're just, I want to say this bluntly. The decisions you make is a blood on your hands. If you sit in these offices and you think you're doing diplomatic work, I'm telling you, and you keep quiet, when people are dying, children are crying for their fathers, people are being abducted and tortured, and you say nothing. The blood of orphans are on your hands. So we need to speak up. We can't stand here and just look. We need to stand up and speak for our country, Uganda. And that's why we are here. We left our homes, we left our jobs to highlight, and we are not going to be silent for God and my country.
Good afternoon again. It's a community living abroad here, and we are here to demonstrate because of the junta of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power for 40 years. And this next year's selection, as he prefers to call them elections, general elections, he is going to select himself the 7th time in power. This has only happened in Belarus, where the dictator there has been elected the 7th time. Uganda, the dictator selects himself in power. It will be the 7th time he selects and gets into power. The UK government still funds and provides funds taxpayers' money is being wasted in Uganda. This taxpayers' money would have benefited people in UK other than being spent in Uganda. Uganda is such a low development country, but the corruption each week squanders over $7 million. That's unbelievable for such an undeveloped country. This is the same country that facilitates training of the army, the police, and the prisons. But Uganda army, Uganda police, and Uganda prisons have no borders. The police, the army are all the murderers. They kill and maim Ugandans. They murder Ugandans. And these people are trained for British money in Britain, in Sandhurst. We condemn Sandhurst to train the torturers, the murderers who are killing Ugandans. Please stop the military training, the military aid you provide. You provide for our torture. The aid that goes to Uganda facilitates murder. The Sandhurst trained general, fake general of Uganda, the son of the dictator, is all the time killing, murdering Ugandans, putting them in safe houses, in funny houses where they of limbs. And this is being facilitated by UK. You provided the training for this man. You gave him all the torture skills. Now he's putting them to skill. Britain, stop funding our torture. You give Uganda £1 billion every year. For the last 40 years, you've sustained the dictator of Uganda in power, the junta of Uganda. People, when you see a photograph like this gentleman holding, that is one of the torture guys. He's trained in Sandhurst and the best colleges here in the United Kingdom, in the military, and in the United States. He's in charge of our murder, rape, and our sons, daughters, moms, sisters, uncles. And you still provide him the education, the torture skills, which he comes back to Uganda and applies. That is Christopher. This guy has killed more people than you can believe. You think Russia has killed? That is nothing to what Museveni has done, the dictator of Uganda. He's killed many. He's killed so many people. Yet, UK, Great Britain once was Great Britain, sits and just watches and gives more money. We encourage you not to give money to Uganda. Stop funding our death. Stop paying for our death. Stop paying for the facilitation that take us to these torture chambers where we are killed. Museveni of Uganda, the junta of Uganda, is one of the worst dictators. But no British press will talk about it. They talk about Putin. They talk about other dictators of Belarus. They never talk about the junta of Uganda, Museveni, who has been in power for 40 years. People looking at me and people behind here, most of them are below 40. This man has been in power for 40 years. And each selection, he prefers to call election, he comes back. So he's been in power for 40 years. I emphasize, the junta of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, has been in power for 40 years. Next January 14th, he thinks he's making another round to be in power. This is a man where he's kicked off all working institutions. The Uganda institutions, public service, is there isn't anything to be proud of. The inequality in payments, the pay scales, they say that the nepotism, the tribalism is none ever seen in Uganda. Museveni has made Idi Amin look a saint and an angel. That's why we call Amin is an angel. Looking back to compare to what Museveni has done, it cleanses all the bad things Idi Amin ever did to the Ugandans, Museveni has murdered right from the onset. When he was fighting to get in power, he killed millions. When he is in power, he has killed and tortured so many Ugandans. And yet, you sit and watch all these murders. NUP, everywhere. Kunga Uganda, Kunga Uganda, Kunga Bobi Wine, people power, people power. Thank you.
People power. NUP, everywhere. We are from Uganda. The reason why we are standing at the Foreign Office is to call on the UK government to stop the financing of the brutal dictator, the junta of Uganda, a 42-year-old junta in power. We are calling on the UK to stop the training of the militias from Uganda. To be torturers.